Hey y'all, this is my 2021 Ford Ranger FX4. I want to go over the modifications I've done with it and why it's called the TRS 3 Ranger. People see these fender stripes and probably think that they're there just for decoration or that they're racing stripes, but these stripes are actually a tribute to the TRS 1 and TRS 2 Ford Rangers. Those Rangers had a blue over white paint scheme with a red stripe separating them. That's why these stripes are in this order. So when you see these stripes, remember that they're not decoration, that these actually have a meaning to them. This is an FX4 Ford Ranger, but as you can see, I've removed the FX4 logo and I put the TRS logo on there. But I didn't put the TRS logo on there until after the truck was lifted and had larger tires on it. When I put the logo on the bedside, there were people that thought that it really wouldn't stand out, people wouldn't notice it. What I've discovered is that when I go places, people will compliment me on this truck and they'll say that they like the TRS package. So people are not only noticing the truck, but they're noticing the logo. Now this logo has been around for a long time and I apply this logo myself. I create this on my vinyl cutter and layer the logo. It's not printed. This is kind of old school as far as vinyl graphics go. And I have not updated this to make it modern. So even though it's now 2024, this is very much a 1990s style decal, and I plan to keep it that way. You know, it pays. I feel like it pays tribute to the history of the range station and the fact that the range station's been around for 25 years. The massive ranch hand grill guard on the front of this Ranger was originally designed for a Dodge Ram pickup, and I bought it for $50 and narrowed it to fit the body of the Ford Ranger. I removed the top and bottom tubes to make room for that Nightlight 30-inch LED light bar and that Smitty-built winch. The Smitty-built winch sits in a Weston winch tray, which the grill guard is then welded to and then bolted to the front of the Ranger. In addition to the fog lights on the front, you'll notice that there is ditch lights mounted on the sides of the grill guard, and I can turn those on and off individually. I do not like any lighting above my hood because I get a glare off the hood, so I like having all the lights mounted on the front of this grill guard. This FX4 Ranger rides on a Skyjacker 3.5-inch suspension lift with 295/70/17 tires mounted on Pro Comp 41 series alloy wheels. This ARB snorkel came from Ford Accessories, and if you wonder why I have a snorkel,
so there's a line of rocks across, you might be able to see there. I don't think you want to go above that because that's pooling up the water. It's probably deep up there, and Kevin's pointing to a rock that we used as a marker. But here comes Jim.
this Ranger is obviously taller than stock, but the last thing that you want is for a turbo motor to suck up water into the intake. I wanted to protect the sides of the Ranger, so I made these rock sliders out of 2-inch 120 wall square tubing. They're square tubing that runs back to the frame rail and mounts to the frame with 3/16-inch plate. And then there's a kick out at the rear of the sliders to push the truck around obstacles, as well as traction tape on top of them so you don't slip and fall off of them. I created my own adventure rack by getting these crossbars in the 64 by 39-inch metal basket off of Amazon for a total investment of $300. Not only do these crossbars support that basket, but they also provide a mounting for the lights that are on the rear and the sides of the rack for lighting up the perimeter of the vehicle. I added a DZ tailgate assist for a smoother opening, as well as one of their polymer tailgate boards. The polymer tailgate board provides a table surface as well as a countertop for cooking and preparing foods on. I use a Scepter 5-gallon gas can when I need to carry extra fuel, as well as this Igloo 6-gallon jug. And I can secure them in this space behind the wheel well using the factory tie-down hoops. You can see here where I've added a block with a piece of foam around it to help space it away from the hoop. And then I just run a strap through the top handle and the side handles and hook them and strap it into place. A Lay's Fit bed liner both protects the surface of the bed and keeps things from sliding around in the bed of the truck. I wanted to be able to remove this rack from the bed, so when I created the wiring harness for all the lighting, I used a Curt 6-pin plug and socket and mounted the socket on the inside of the bed so I can easily unplug it and remove everything. I also added a 12-volt outlet and USB charging port to the front of the toolbox, and those unplugged from the bedside as well. On the rear of the basket, I added red LED lights that are hooked to the brakes, and then blue lights that I can turn on during really dusty trail conditions for better visibility. Blue and amber are actually approved colors in the state of Texas for vehicles doing work on the side of the road. I don't understand why Ford put tow hooks on the front and not the rear, so I had a set of factory Ford tow hooks that I added to the frame rails on the back of the Ranger. Again, you can see the rear work lights and the side work lights. Those side work lights actually have a toggle switch mounted next to them that turn them on and off, and I adjusted the timing in the Trek system so that the power to these lights stay on for 2 hours after the key is off. Another important tool to carry is a shovel, and here I have the shovel secured to the side of the rack with some quick fists. I added a water supply to the basket that I made out of 4-inch PVC, and it can either serve as a water supply or a shower. There's a fill here where I can add water, there's a pressure relief valve, and there's a Schrader, and I can pressurize this system by using a rechargeable bicycle pump. I just set the pump for 30 psi, I add it to that Schrader valve, and then it pressurizes the system so that I get good water flow out of my nozzle when I attach a 6-foot garden hose to the other end of this PVC pipe. The toolbox also provides a mounting location for this 4-foot fire stick CB antenna and this Midland GMRS ghost antenna on a custom bracket that I made. And here's a look at the driver's side slider that I made. By no means a professional welder, but I'm very happy with the way that they turned out. I know I'm biased, but I really like the clean look of this truck. It's not very cluttered. To me, it's very neatly done. The reason I chose silver was because it's Ranger Station's 25th anniversary. On the inside, I added these EKR custom leather seat covers that include the matching headrests and also includes the seat covers for the rear seat. The carpet is protected by some Husky floor liners. I added a Uniden CB radio and a Midland GMRS radio. The Uniden radio is actually mounted onto the seat, and then all the controls are on a microphone. This AOB switch panel replaces the panel under the dash, and I ordered switches that are labeled to match what the switches are used for. On the center console is the adjustment knob for the Tow Pro brake controller, and I have a Samsung tablet mounted in a tablet mount that is currently displaying the Kentucky Adventure Trail on Gaia GPS. This Motorola phone is mounted to a bracket that my friend Robbie made, and it actually has a USB charging port attached to the bottom side of it. And then this phone Bluetooths to an action camera that's on the outside of the windshield, and I can control that camera from the phone. As I said before, the stripes on the front fenders of TRS-3 paid tribute to TRS-1 and TRS-2. TRS-1 being the 1983 Ford Ranger 4x4 and TRS-2 being the 1996 Ford Ranger 4x4. I don't have TRS-1 anymore, but I still have TRS-2, although it now has a different paint scheme than what it originally had. It has a paint scheme more in line with what TRS-1 had. TRS-3 will never be as capable of an off-roader as TRS-2 is. However, TRS-3 will enable me to travel across the country, go on more adventures, meet more people, and share the rangestation.com experience. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on one of our future adventures.